Rosalind Soipan Tuia, and Mr. Deputy President, it will be very unfair if I don't give Rosalind 1 minute to say something. For the simple reason that, unknown to many people, she was very close to Ngeno. And since I was part of the negotiations that took place in 2022, I know the inside story and where Ngeno stood when it came to Soipan. So I'd like to invite her to say something.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, speakers of both houses, Honorable Wetangula, Honorable Speaker of the Senate, governors, colleague CSs, the families of our departed brothers, fellow mourners, good afternoon. I would like to, on my own personal behalf, on behalf of my family, and on behalf of the Ministry of Defense, I would like to pass my very sincere condolences to the families, friends, relatives, and many Kenyans who are mourning today for the loss of our brothers, Wycliffe. But just to say that Narok County is in mourning for the loss of all these very dear brothers, the military fraternity, because of retired Lieutenant Colonel Were. And as Waziri says, I would like to say something very brief about our brother, Johana Ngeno. Although I am very well known to all these other young men from Narok County, as well as Captain Were. I have flown with him a few times. We have lost a great leader in Honorable Ngeno. And to me, he's a friend, he's a colleague, and a brother in so many ways. And unknown to many, maybe many people just know the abrasive side of our brother Ngeno, but he's a very amiable human being and a serious family person. I don't know if Naya knows, but I have messages of him inviting me to your baby showers. Unfortunately, he always caught me out of town. And I know he moved around with you, even on parliamentary trips, and, you know, I know how a family person he is. And in his politics, we got elected into parliament in 2013. And for those who know how unceremoniously I got into politics, Johana Ngeno played a big role. I think he used to sympathize with this tiny young girl, and he used to pull a lot of big crowds. So part of the ways I got known within 2 months of campaigning was joyriding in his big crowds and getting known to the people of Narok County. He was very supportive all through our political career. And even on days when sometimes he would declare people persona non grata in Emurua Dikir, as I know the leaders of majority did not say much of the 2022 campaigns. They were tough. Honorable Ishungwa and Aaron, you know, there were days when you could not get into Emurua Dikir. But 2017, but he always supported me all along. And when I vied for governorship in 2022, he always called me my governor, while I knew exactly where his heart was. But he would call me his governor, and true to his word, he was always very soft with me. Even when things were hot in Emurua Dikir, I would find my way around. And I think he's a Mkarabati. I don't know what Sudi will say, but I know he's one Mkarabati of politics, Ngeno. So one day, him and Farouk accosted me in the deputy president's residence in Karen when we were at the heat of campaigns for governorship, and I was vying against his father-in-law, Patrick. So him and Farouk put me in a room and said, you know, we have seen far, and we know you are going to become a cabinet secretary. And knowing who he was and who Farouk is, nikajua hawa wananipanga. So I was very furious with them. I walked out on them. To cut the long story short, when I got appointed, he came back and said, you see, I had a prophecy. So amekuwa akinidai prophecy fees lately. We've lost a great friend, a great leader. We've lost great young people and captain here, and they will greatly be missed in all the various sectors where they served this country. And finally, when I saw the accident victims, when it started circulating on social media, and I saw, very unfortunately, our brother as being one of them, and Carlos being in the same aircraft, I got confused because I know where they stood politically. But like we are told, it is not that serious. When it is politics, we stand on different sides. Let's agree to disagree, but remember, it is not that serious. We have to hold our country together. We are brothers and sisters, even if we hold divergent views about things. And that is the same thing that we need to understand at this point going forward. That we can agree to disagree, but keep the peace, each one of us expressing themselves the way they want to. Your Excellencies, this is my church, and I know Bishop will allow me to say, Karibuni Kanisani. Thank you for coming to mourn with Narok County, with the family of our brother Colonel Were and the entire country. To all the families, may the Lord comfort you, and we are going to stand together as we afford a befitting send-off to each and every one of our brothers. The Lord bless you all. Thank you.
I will be very brief, Your Excellency. First, let me say, like many colleagues have said here, I joined politics the same time, or I was elected to Parliament the same time with Honorable Johana Ngeno in 2013. And you all know he came in KNC. He stuck on that side in 2017 when he moved to Kano. And like many of my colleagues, including Ichungu, have said, that we were always on the opposite side for a long time until after 2017. How I became a friend to Carlos was actually because we were campaigning against Ngeno. And in that campaign, what was extremely interesting is that we would go there and say, Tupigie kura Jubilee, we do what we needed to do. When we came back to Nairobi, he never took offense. Ngeno never took any offense. He used to say, you people don't know those people. Those are my people. I have come from very far. I actually used to say I created a constituency and that nothing will change. He kept a very good spirit as a politician, a person who is able to fight during the day and negotiate at night. He knew when to compete with colleagues and when to negotiate with them. And we had a good relationship that grew over time. The more I stayed close to Ngeno, I felt like he was a very underrated leader. In fact, for a person who went to Maseno School and did his first degree out of the country in Kiev, and then had a second degree here with another master's degree, he was the kind of person that I think all of us assumed because of his style of politics and the way he mingled with the people in Emurua Dikir, and the way he never threw the card of his academic achievements all over, we actually underrated his intellect and his capabilities. It's until you sit down with him and engage him that you realize that he had a certain depth in terms of intellect, knowledge, and appreciation of issues. Number two, I don't know if there is something like that, Bishop will tell me. Ngeno was quietly and deeply a religious man. And that is another contradiction. For some of us who went to Sunday school and grew up in pastors' families, it used to fascinate me how in his public speeches, he had the capabilities to speak about verses in the Bible often and relate it with his political journey. And he really used to quote those deep verses, and the interpretations would indicate a person who had an appreciation of theology, an appreciation of the Bible and Christianity. No wonder every of his example he used to give was always about heaven, a new land. I think it's because also of the challenges he used to face in Narok, Transmara, Emurua Dikir. On the challenges he went through, it was always, figuratively, he always used to tell his people there is a better land to go to. His favorite song was Kalenjin hymn songs 100. And I've heard him sing many times. Mieme ne kararan misi neki kere amuka yanet Sip kostjobwe Corona tabara kipsengwe Tungi boy. You want to pretend there are no Kalenjins here? Kere yeti Kimni Tunki boy tu Yeki kere Jesu. So somehow there was a depth of faith in him that was underrated. And I think he was quietly in communion with God in his life, unlike some of us who publicly professed. Ngeno, a very interesting issue that has maybe not been captured here, or people fear to say it. He was actually something unique there that was called kingpin. That everybody... So there was this joke all the time. You meet him and he says, you know, I'm the kingpin. And then, so I used to tell him, but who are you competing with? That is an opposed. He once had to explain himself when politics became too much. So he said, they are in the skies, there is a sun, that is President William Ruto. There is a moon, which is his deputy, and there are other bigger stars. So he used to tell us that he's a firefly. You see the firefly, that his kingship is a firefly. So he used to say he glows at night. He's one of those fireflies. And as we think about it, and it was really very interesting. When we think about it, it reminds me the sermon of Martin Luther King Jr. when he preached about Mark chapter 10:35, about the drum major instincts. And he said that, you know, in us, when James and John asked Jesus that they would like to be put on the left side and the right side in their kingdom, it was Jesus who told them that, yes, that is fine, but it has to come through sacrifice. It takes sacrifice and servant leadership to be in my right side or left side. And I think as Johana said he was a firefly, I think he was right. He was a firefly of justice. He fought for the justice of his people. He fought for land justice. He was a firefly when it came to music, an artist. He really did a lot to raise the stature of the musicians in this country. He was a firefly when he became in his leadership in the committee of housing. He did a fantastic job, as everybody has realized here, has spoken about it here. And therefore, in commemoration of his great job, I want to say that let us go out there and be the fireflies, the servant leadership, be the kingpins and queenpins in your corner to make a difference in every opportunity you are given to make a difference in this nation. Mr. Speaker, DP, I needed to say Carlos is also my friend, a very good friend of mine. The book writes that this book is written that Carlos graduated in 2015. He went from first year 2010 and graduated in 2015. It is not true. He did not graduate in 2015. Carlos went to university in 2010, and in 2015 he left college. But he could not graduate because he had a fee of about $500,000. So in 2023, on 2nd of October, he came to my office and told me, I want to graduate. And I told him, okay, I'll see what to do. Luckily, we facilitated his graduation. On 20th of December, he sent me a picture having graduated with his mother. And he was very happy in appreciation. This man was a very good friend. He was a hardworking person. And I want to say that Carlos, one of the reasons why Carlos did not get a job early, he had told us that he would not want to be a teacher early because he thought he was focusing on his political career. And Were also was very close to me, and I know the family know that. We have gone home, he has come to my place. And I must say that on behalf of all of us who are in the executive, we want to pray for these families. We will support you. His Excellency the President had directed our ministry to do some work on his behalf, and we have done so to facilitate food in the home, to facilitate the tents, and to facilitate also many other arrangements that His Excellency the President said that all those people who come there must be fed and must be appreciated for the support they continue to give their Member of Parliament and the families that are present with us. I wish you God's grace. May the souls of all these great gentlemen rest in eternal peace. It is now my greatest pleasure and duty to invite my speaker, who was my speaker for a few months before I left Senate, Speaker Amason Jeva Kingi.
Familia za wenda zake zikiongozwa na wajane, wazazi, ndugu na marafiki, Naibu wa Rais Profesa Kithure Kindiki, viongozi wenzangu, mabibi na mabwana waombolezaji. Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe tena. Kwa niaba yangu binafsi na kwa niaba ya familia yangu na kwa niaba ya bunge la Senate, ningependa kupeana risala za rambirambi kwa huzuni kwa familia za ndugu zetu ambao walituacha. Kifo ni kifo, lakini kifo cha ghafla kina uchungu mkubwa. Na bila shaka uchungu huu ndio familia hizi 6 zinasikia kwa sasa. Letu ni kumwombea Mwenyezi Mungu awapatie faraja na bega la kuegemea wakati huu. Tunajua wazi katika eneo bunge ambalo Mheshimiwa Johana alikuwa akiwakilisha, wingu la majonzi limetanda mapana na marefu eneo bunge lile. Si uchungu ule kwa sababu ya mwanafamilia wa bunge letu. Nimesikiliza wale waliozungumza kwa niaba ya familia hizi 6, na imebainika wazi kwamba wale ambao wamelala mbele yetu hapa walikuwa wanategemewa pakubwa na familia hizi 6. Na kama wahenga wanavyotuambia ni kwamba mti mkubwa ukianguka wana wa ndege huyumba. Bila shaka familia hizi zitayumba, na ndio maana tunamwomba Mwenyezi Mungu apatie nguvu na apatie maswali, apatie majibu yale maswali ambayo mnajiuliza katika fikra zenyu. Uzuri ni kwamba tulivyoambiwa ni kwamba ndugu zetu walolala walikuwa ni watu wanaogopa na kumtegemea Mungu na Yesu Kristo. Na kama vile tunavyokumbushwa katika kitabu cha Isaya 57:2,
we know what happened there, and in early 2007, 2008, he came and told me, my friend, you gave me some money, I went, I won, but I lost. Said, I won, but I understood. I understood. And we became very tight friends. He's a man full of life. Many times I go to South Rift for functions when our MPs invite us. Mukiwa kwa function, unasikia commotion. Unauliza what is happening, unasema Johana is coming. And he will arrive and change the mood of the meeting. That was Johana. Very, very good person. With a clean heart. Tulimuita siku moja kumwambia a support ndugu yangu Tunai as a candidate for senator. Tulikuwa na hawa kina Murkomen, na Ichungwa, na Aaron. Akatusikiza alafu akasema, you know, I respect all of you, but this one, hapana. na akaondoka akatuacha. But later he called me and said, you know, mimi nina msimamo wangu. That is him. So mama, our daughter, the Ndutu family, mama wa rafiki yetu Johana, tunasema pole sana. Huyu ndugu yetu Were, on 22nd of last month, alinibeba mimi na Aaron Cheriot na Faruk Kibet kutoka Narok mpaka Kakamega, akaturudisha Nairobi, na rafiki yetu tumetembea naye sana. Very diligent pilot. But accidents do happen. It happened. We celebrate their lives. Hawa vijana wengine wote, jana Murkomen wanaita Carlos amewahi man. So tukiwa hapa leo, waheshimiwa, ni kuwaaga wa ndugu zetu. Inatukumbusha siku ile tulienda Marsabit baada ya kupoteza wabunge 6, Godana, Ngoyoni, Guracha na wengine, Sasura, Mirugi. When in a stroke of one, we pray to God that all their souls rest in eternal peace. Bishop Langat, we thank you for your homily and the good message you passed to us. Wabunge wetu wote, jana niliwapa time kwa bunge. Pole hamjaongea hapa. I know members of parliament love talking anytime you see an audience. But I gave you time, 1.5 hours, and you all paid tribute to your colleagues. And we thank you for taking time to come here. Just to acknowledge you, please, all members of parliament in both houses be upstanding to be acknowledged. The National Assembly and the Senate. This is the big, happy family of parliament that is now sad for losing one of us. Tunawashukuru sana. Friday tunawaomba twende Emurua Digiri for the final send-off. Thank you. Be seated. Tuko hapa pia na wafanyakazi wetu kiongozwa na karani mkuu. Tafadhali msimame tu tuwa acknowledge. Wengi pengine wako uko nje kwa kazi, lakini clerk wetu Njoroge yuko hapo na wengine. Tunawashukuru sana kwa kuja kuwa nasi. I want to end by saying, like everybody else has said, when there is a tragedy in our country, it will be good for all of us to appreciate the will of God and not assign malice where it is not necessary. I have no doubt that Pilot Were was an astute airman and cannot have endangered his own life. This was an accident, and we hope the aviation authorities will look at the aircraft and its remains and see how corrective measures mechanically can be done in the future to avoid similar happenings. With Captain Were, Aaron, you remember how he was navigating around clouds in Kisii area, in Kericho, to get us to where we are going. An extremely careful pilot. And for Johana Ngeno and the people of Emurua Digiri, you've lost a leader. All politics are local, and he knew what local politics of his area meant. We went there to campaign many times, and you could see a man truly connected with his people. You could see a man who his people listened to, and you could see a man who his people appreciated. One time he came to see me, and I told him, you know, there's a book I read where there's a character called Johana Ngeno. He laughed and said, mimi si ule Johana wa kitabu, mimi ni Johana mwerefu, na wa kitabu ni Johana Ngeno. Then he said, you know, hao watu ya Kipsigis wameniambia mimi nikuwe kingpin, unaonaje? Nikasema sasa hiyo enda zungumza na Cheriot Aaron na wengine, wakikubali sawa. You know, at any one time as I finish, an individual stands up in a generation and distinguishes himself above the rest, takes courage, speaks courageously, leads with vision, and speaks for everybody. No wonder the bishop said this was Kipkaliakones incarnate, because we served with Kipkaliakones and he knew how to tell you things as they were. Strangely, Bishop, the two heroes have died under similar circumstances. But when tragedy strikes, we withdraw back, thank God, praise God, like Job in the Bible. After losing each and every asset he had and his children, he said, I still believe you are a good God. And God remains a good God. God has never suffered from memory loss. He will always look after the widows and the orphans that our brothers have left. Allow me now to invite the Deputy President of the Republic,